בשעה טובה, חודש טוב, ראש חודש טוב. We're starting, Baruch Hashem, another class of Mesilat Yesharim right after Hagim, New Year 5782. And Bezat Hashem, we should look forward for the next year, the same time as well. Hopefully, we're going to be in the further chapters.
Hopefully, Yesharim,
very good. So we were discussing about first perek actually, which was regarding Zerizut. Second perek about Zehirut, how to be precautious. Exactly what the world now is worried about: vaccine, social distancing, mask, precautions, not to bring ourselves to the situation of danger or sickness. So Harab Mesilat Yesharim Ramhal Zichuto Yagan Aleinu, he explained that actually, if we don't be aware of this, we will be less than behemoth. Why? Because at least animals, they are afraid of fire, afraid of stick, afraid of humans, and they run away right away before they start fighting. And if we are not aware enough or zahir enough, careful enough to sit back or be careful about the situation, we would be less than them. Page 45. Someone who travels through his world without considering whether his path is good or not. In Tova Darko Ra'a, he is not paying attention. As long as he had a good vacation, that was good enough. As long as he had a good salary and income, that's good enough. As long as he had a good date or good food, that's good enough. He's not careful or vigilant enough about his situation. Only he sees what's sweet or comfortable for him. Belihit wananot. He doesn't take it to the consideration or heshbon hanefesh, to calculate in tovat darkora, am I in the right path or not? Someone who is blind in the city is totally different than someone who is blind by the shore, by the seashore. Why? Because al-sifat han-nahar, someone who is blind by the seashore, asher sakanato vaday atzuma ura'ato karuvam hatzalato, his danger is much more than his safety, because he's not aware of the situation of the tide, and ocean all of a sudden is going to take him inside and sink, and he has nowhere to save himself. He is like a blind person walking on the edge of the riverbank, whose peril is surely very great, Vera'ato karovam hatzalato, and whose misfortune is far more likely than his salvation. Is like someone who is in an operation room and he starts smoking. Definitely in operation room, if you are there to be healthy, by you smoking, you're gonna reverse everything, and definitely the danger, sickness is more possible than any cure. And this is what we experience, or we're going to, in this week's parasha, Parashat Noah. Parashat Noah, really Hashem wanted to save who? Wanted to save the world. But these same people are the one who made Hashem angry, and he wanted to punish them. If you want to punish them, why you bring the ark? If you want to bring the ark, why you bring the flood? Anyway, they are the one who made you angry, and you want to punish them. Why you make it possible ark for them, Tevat Noah, to be saved? If you would have said, listen, I'm bringing a flood. If you change your direction, you will be alive. Otherwise, the flood is gonna punish you, is gonna sink you. Then he has no other choice. Either go back to Hashem or flood. But if you're offering them, there is an ark, you could be saved. Just go inside the Teva. Noah, building for 120 years, a Teva. Why Hashem offering them such an option, which are the same people who has to be punished? They could take advantage. We go to ark. Why Hashem offers such a? Because the whole idea of the ark, Tevat Noah, was not to have Mabul. That was the whole idea of awareness, itbonenut. Hashem wanted to give them the worst scenario, that you know where are you ending? This is the end of you, flood, Mabul. So why don't you change? And the whole idea of the Tevat Noah, to stop the Mabul, not to save the Mabul. And we see sometimes Hashem give us certain opportunity just to wake us, to make us open our eyes that this is not the way of life. This is not the way of Avodat Hashem. Many of us, we serve Hashem because we are born like that to benefit ourselves. And the minute I see that I don't get what I want, I change direction. So many tefillot, so many Shabbat, so many this I kept. What happened? Because the reason was for my benefit. I don't get what I want, so no more Shabbat, no more kashrut, no more tefillah. So we see from here that Hashem is trying to open our eyes that do a little bit hishman hanefesh. Why are you serving Hashem? If really is not Leshem Shamayim, and it does not bring you to appreciation, to thanking Hashem, and bringing you just to complain to Hashem, don't do it. A minute you see you are not in the level of Avodat Hashem with whole heart, don't do it. This way, at least you take the blame that, you see, I'm not doing it. Instead of still doing it, I'm putting blame on Hashem. You see, I'm doing it and Hashem is not answering my tefillah. Hashem is not paying attention to my Shabbat, to the mitzvot that I do. As if we are here to make a deal, business with Hashem. And this is what it says, that Zehirut, to being careful, is the key of Avodat Hashem. If you are not careful, where are you? In Tovat Darko or Ra'ah, if your approach, your understanding, your perspective is Tova or Ra'ah, if you don't know where are you going, it's not worth it. And we see end of the Parashat Noah, we had Dor Haflaga. From Dor Mabul, which was the beginning of the parasha, we went all the way to Dor Haflaga. Dor Haflaga, they said, you know what? Of course, we have to help each other. We don't want another Mabul. We don't want another Mal'aharis Hamas that Hashem sees everything, the world is corrupted. Obviously, socialism, we have to back each other. Communism, we have to be common. Kibbutz, everyone is equal. We all are the same. We have no differences. Yes, but we are equal, but not with Hashem. Only us. The unity of people in Dor Haflaga brought separation between Hashem and people. And again, that's wrong. In one hand, they were with Hashem, not with the people. Dor HaMabul, Hashem said, is not good. In Dor HaFlaga, they were with people, but not with Hashem. Again, Hashem is not good. We need to have everybody together. Hashem, us, people, Ben Adam lahadra, Ben Adam lamakom. So you think in Dor HaFlaga, people who wanted to build and to fight with Hashem, you think they thought they are wrong? They thought they are doing the right thing. They are stopping the world from any disaster. It's a vaccine. Here is like a teacher who came in Russia, communism, to the class and said, you know what, you don't need to beg Hashem anymore for rain. All you need, the scientists, they created the powder that you put it on the clouds, chemical powders, and it's gonna make the clouds to rain. So was a little kid in the end of the class says, so who's gonna send the cloud? Yeah. No matter what, still we need Hashem in our life. Even though you feel we have the best vaccine already, we have a boost already, we have this, we have that. Don't you realize already for past 2 years, pandemic, everything is from above? Don't you see no one can do anything? What's the point of just insisting on the prevention and not on the cure? If you look at the news, listen to the news, none of them talk about the cure. How can we cure corona? All talk about how can we prevent corona. No one talks about cure.
Nobody knows nothing about this disease.
You think if we don't know anything about this disease, we could prevent it?
No.
Exactly. So you see from here that same thing in Yahadut, Avodat Hashem. Sometimes we insist too much in Aseh Tov, be good, do mitzvah, this challah baking, this uman, this kever sadikim, Aseh Tov, hachnasat kala, Aseh Tov, do good. And we left out the first part, which is Sur mera v'aseh tov. First, stay away from ra, from sin, from impurity, from tum'ah. Then aseh tov. Yes, then you could start being good. But, I mean, has v'shalom, I'm not trying to judge anybody. We are in Galut. Everybody is affected, including us. I'm not to judge anybody, but I want to bring out my point. Few years ago was a kind of appreciation magazine from one of these organizations, don't mention name, who had dinner, fundraising dinner. For what? For certain good cause. I don't want to again mention any name. Good cause. But what was the method of fundraising? Was the whole gambling. It was jackpot. how do you call it? Poker night. Something like that. You come poker night, you come gambling, and this way, by you paying for each table to play poker and gambling and have a drink, this money goes to non-profit organization, support a good cause. You know, I remember 30 years ago, Harav Raful in Brooklyn, he received a check, very big check, from certain Syrian clothing company. I don't want to mention the name. Harav Raful said, big check. I don't want it. Why? Because your advertisement on the billboard of your clothing is not selling. I don't want that money. Keep the check. I'm sure were other organizations who appreciated and took the check, but he had his mahalach. Listen, you want to be good, has to be pure. Sur mera aceto, not mixing together. Acera, aceto, mixing together, chulent, as long as there is a tov in it. And that's what the zehirut comes before zerizut. Zerizut is being proactive, acetov, but zehirut is being precaution. Surmera, stay away from the ra, from the sin. And this is what Harav Mesilat Yesharim Ramchal tried to teach us. Don't fool yourself or be proud of the mitzvot that you do. Be aware of the sins and the averot that you do. Sur Mera. First, focus on Zehirut, to be careful not to do wrong. Then, be Zariz to do the mitzvah. Unfortunately, when it comes to many Shalom Bayit issues, you see this, that people, by sometimes destroying, they want to build. They don't know that this is the wrong approach. And this is all idea that Hashem first took Israel out of Egypt. First, Yesiat Misraim, come out of Misraim. Then I give you Eretz Canaan. And Eretz Canaan cannot be achieved unless you have Matan Torah on your way by Har Sinai. Get the Torah, rules and regulations, mitzvot, halachot, to know how to treat each other, how to treat Hashem, how to treat Eretz Israel. Once you have Matan Torah, yes, Eretz Canaan in yours. But unless you haven't left Misraim, unless you don't have Yesiat Misraim, you don't have Geula, you don't have redemption. And that's what cost 80% of Bnei Israel in Misraim not to have Geula. Why? They didn't want to have Yesiat Misraim. They didn't want to change. They said, what's wrong if we could be just as Egyptian, as Galut? We can fashion, we could be safe too. So therefore, it's very important not to mix sur, mera, and asetov together. And the only thing that helps us is zehirut. So it says, Harav continues, Ki ulam hasron hashemira mipnei ha'ivaron hativ'i o mipnei ha'ivaron hartzoni. means there are two different blindness. One is lack of sight, and the other one is lack of perspective. به فارسی میگن چشم بصیرت یعنی perspective یا چشم سیرت یا صورت که میشه چشم بینایی. Our eyesight, which we see physically, or perspective, which we see spiritually. So there are two different blindness. What's the difference? Someone who is blind physically he has a goal, but he doesn't have a tool. He knows where he wants to go. He has a goal, but he has no tool. He doesn't see, he doesn't have eyes. Someone who is mentally blind, emotionally, spiritually is blind, he has the tool. He doesn't have the goal. He doesn't know where he wants, he's ending to, just going. He has a tool. Chokhmah, Binah, Da'at, everything. Pokiah Hebrim, Mati Rasulim, anything you name it, Hashem has given him, but he does not use it because he has no goal. He has the tools, he has no goal. And this is what it says. Ivaron Hativ'i, natural blindness, or Ivaron Hartsoni, that he doesn't want to open his eyes. He rather to be blind. He doesn't want to see it. He doesn't want to have hishman and nefesh. He doesn't want to have awareness, hit or a root. He rather continue the same lifestyle that he had, habits, and anything that he's used to. He doesn't want to change. Ibaron hartzoni. Dahainu setimat ha'enaim. That he's closing his eyes. Bebehira vehefes. He doesn't want to consider any other choice or behira. He rather to be stuck with the same old lifestyle. Vehefes. And he doesn't want to have any desire to change. And it says, these are all the same. So it says, which is the shouting at one's eyes to danger by choice and preference. Willingly, he wants to be tricked and fooled, to be blind. You know, I mentioned this many times. Sometimes our first source of help is not Hashem. Why? Because if I go to him first, means I validated his help and his presence in my life, and I cannot go against him. At least if I go to the doctor or the attorney or the social worker or plumber or electrician, all they need from me, the money. Pay me salary, pay me for my job. I don't care how you live. But going to Hashem, asking for help, Hashem says, I want to see how do you live. I don't want you to come back again next time with me with the same problem. Since for us is a commitment and the responsibility in order to fix our problem, we need to fix ourselves. We rather to live with the problem, not to fix ourselves. Our last solution would be Hashem, which we have no other choice. Okay, Hashem, what do you want me to do? I know you're waiting. You're going to ask me be shomer Shabbat, keep this, do that, don't say this. I know that's you want to tell me, but I'm here just to get the bracha, just to get the help. Tell me. We are not ready to change because changing ourselves is harder than changing our problem. So we rather stay with our problem and not change ourselves. And this is the mentality that unfortunately made the galut harder for us. We rather to stay and hug the galut the way that they want us and not the way that Hashem wants us. Even though I have a choice to change, I have a preference, I close my eyes. That's also good. Unfortunately, going back in this country for past 34 years, original problem of the community, our community was public school. Jewish yeshivot, schools, how kids gonna go to school. After that, the problem of the community came, marriage. So many singles. Who they gonna get married? After that, the problem came parnasa. We are immigrant. We're looking for a job. How I'm gonna establish my family? After a few years, the problem came. The noise of outside. After few years, the problem came, the separation of family from their children. They grow up already, they don't want to live Persian mentality, they don't feel connected. After that, we settled. Now we have parnasa, we have family. Now the shalom bayit problems started. Shalom bayit problems took some years. Now we have intermarriage problems. Intermarriage problem also is old. Do you know what's the problem of our community now? Which we have few cases already past month. Even in Chola Moed Sukkah, same-sex marriages. California and New York. And people go. People go to send invitation. You see how the galut is dissolving us only because we rather to stay with the problem and not fix ourselves, change ourselves, change our perspective, not open our eyes, not to be zahir. Any type of bar mitzvah party, any type of wedding, any type of sweet 16, any type of anything you name it, as long as they serve kosher food, is good. At least the food is kosher. What's wrong? The food is kosher. You know what's glad for kosher? You know this hechsher. You know this hashkacha. This hashkacha is top of the hashkacha. Mashkiach this, mashkiach that, Bet Yosef, Kemach Yashan, anything you name it, they provide. It's the best hechsher. How about the singer? How about the crowd? How about the seniut? How about this? How about that? That's not really part of the liability and the contract. We only responsible for a kosher food for our guests. We don't want to have a guilt feeling, oh, I invite them to the non-kosher event or restaurant. I'm fully confident that everything kosher. They came, they enjoyed, even they said hamotzi. Your grandfather from the end of the room, they found to come say you hamotzi. They said hamotzi, and that's it. So we see from here, we're mixing, we're changing Torah and mitzvot according to Galut style. We are not changing Galut according to Torah style. And this is the problem of Ivaron Harutzoni. I don't want to open my eyes. I don't want to be better. I'd rather to stay the way I am.
And it's written in the healing.
Very good. Yeah, you have a good point. بچه هم بزنید. موقع میگه یقه آدم میگیرم میخوام با آدم ازدواج کنم. Therefore, ki ulam. Yeah, بفرمایید. What's your question? That's one of the cases. That's one of the cases. دو تا پسرم بودن. چندم case different cases. But the problem of our community now, this is the problem. No more public school, no more that. Obviously, through these past 4 years of our immigration, we had many other issues, drug, this, that, but now this is the issue. This is the topic. So therefore, if we really care about our physical health as far as virus and the vaccine, is anywhere we could come up with a vaccine of Galut, not to be affected? Yes?
I was reading my son a book about Mesilat last night, and it was saying that that the whole reason why Ahasuerus plotted that wanted to have that Seudah exactly like that, the Yosef, top of the line, everything the best, is to trick them, is to get them in there, have not some new things there, and why? In order to Shalom bring Deen onto the judgment of Deen onto to turn Hashem against us.
That's the whole idea, that he wear the clothing of Kohen Gadol, he used the utensils of Bet HaMikdash. So the whole idea is, again, as I said in the beginning, Chas v'Shalom, we are not here to judge anybody, because who knows what training, what education, what uprising they had. But me, myself, can I open my eyes a little bit to see what I'm doing? If my goal is more important than my tools, or my tools is more important than my goal. I said in Persian and I translated in English که بعضی موقع تفیلا خوندن ما به هشم برای هدف نیست که بهمون یه هدفی بده، برای اینکه بهمون هدیه بده. Our prayer sometimes to Hashem is not to give us the clarity to find Hashem, is to just gain something, the present, to gain something for our personal need, not for our educational need, our growing need, our root. And that's the best example that which Hashem says to Abraham next week's parasha. I know you fight idols, I saved you, you're the only one, everyone is wrong, you are right, I agree with you 100%, but lech lecha. First, go for yourself. Leave them alone. You don't have to change the whole world. First, change yourself. We are not less than Abraham Avinu. At least, Baruch Hashem, we don't have to fight with the whole world. We have a yeshivot, we have rabbanim, we have so many separim, we have Mesilat, Yesharim, we have Zichron Livracha, Rabbi Yosef, who is your side is this Shabbat, Gimel Heshvan. We have so many Sadiqim that they could help us. We don't have to fight with the whole world. Baruch Hashem, this today is better. But Lech Lecha. Focus on yourself, and I end with this story. Yes?
Yes, Rabbi. Unfortunately,
unfortunately. I know somebody wrote that she's above all these gays and to help the Persian community for this time. I think, I say from the side, the rabbis, their duty is to open and to talk about it. And there is even Talmidei Yeshiva, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I'm saying rabbis is to open and talk about it. And maybe they can help and save those neshamot.
You see, the thing is, you are right, but we are not living in the same level of understanding of each rabbi. There are certain rabbi who are more strict, there are certain rabbi who are less strict, and there are certain rabbi who are not strict. And we have it already in our neighborhood and community, any type of rabbi you want. As long as he feels comfortable, he's shul hopping. From this shul goes to that shul, from this rabbi goes to other rabbi, from this shul goes to other shul. So therefore, he does not feel committed that what he's saying I have to do. There is another rabbi, maybe he's not from my background, but they are also Jewish. They have so many branches in the whole world. They're offering a little bit easier approach of Torah. So I could go with them. People come with short to minyan, it doesn't tell them anything. People come with a sleeveless, it doesn't tell them anything. So that's his approach. So we have all different approaches. You are right. If rabbis were in one voice in the same level, 100%. Like firefighters. You don't find a firefighters of, let's say, South Middle Neck to have a different approach or rules and regulations than the firefighters in the North Middle Neck. Both went to the same academy and they learned the same idea. How to put off the fire, how to fight with the fire, how to save people. They have the same thing. Same thing, police academy. But we as a rabbi, we don't have that. There are different approaches, different kind of honesty. Therefore, if one or two or three rabbi talks about it in the manner that they feel like it, others, someone called me yesterday, doesn't matter male or female, someone called me yesterday that in the beginning, when their child was going out with a non-Jew, they stopped it, kind of, they fight it, this, that, but when the one who called me, went to the rabbi of the community, not from Grednik, rabbi told him, I don't stop it for this, but I show them options if they want to convert. You understand? So, yes, one rabbi would say, listen, why you want to do this? The other rabbi said, I don't stop it for this, but I show them the option how to convert. Anyway, he said that rabbi retired, no longer his position, but he said, this is my opinion. You have different opinions. So I want to end just with this. That lech lecha, chas v'shalom, this class or this gathering or this shiur is not to judge the people, judge the world, judge the community, judge the rabbi. We are here just for our personal growth. How can I be more zahir? Zahirut. How can I do more sumera? And nothing goes to vain. The whatever I do has zorim bedim'ah, one day you will see the result. I read it last night in Living Emunah that Rabbi Asher wrote it. He also read it in Observant magazine, Observation something from OU, I think, that was in 1900 was a family who immigrated, father with, I think, 8 children, something, 8 sons. And little by little, all of them got assimilated, but the last one by the name of Mordechai. Still at the age of 13, 14, he was putting some tefillin, keeping Shabbat, kashrut, but at the age of 16, he said, leave me alone. I don't want it. My brothers, you see, they got involved, they have good girlfriend, they have good business, they have good education, this, that. I don't want to do it anymore. The father begged him, explained to him, cry for him, listen, you are my last hope. Don't do this to me. He saw the father cry. He says, Father, no problem. I don't disappoint you. I'm not going to do it. But it took him just few weeks. He changed, forgot about everything. He grew up and he got married. He had a son. One of the children went to Israel, got involved with Or Sameach. He decided, you know what, to continue and to be more observant. He received phone call in New York that his son is joining Or Sameach Yeshiva to be religious. He gets the ticket right away to go to Israel to talk to him.
He married a Jew? If I married a Jew?
Apparently, yeah, he got married to a Jew. Apparently, yeah. So he's in a plane to go to Israel to stop his son, not to be religious, not to go to Sameach. As he's in the plane, he says, what I'm doing. My father begged me to be religious. Now I'm begging my son not to be religious. Exactly opposite what my father wanted from me is happening. I'm doing it not to myself, I'm doing it to my son too. As he had sometimes to think about, finally the cry of the father 50 years ago woke him up. He remembered how he cried, and he realized that actually that cry of 50 years ago of the father now is affecting, and the grandson is going to Torah. So he gladly changed his mind, and when he went there, he says, I'm happy that Baruch Hashem, at least you did not disappoint my father. If I did, you didn't. This song continues, and little by little, the father Mordechai also changed direction. And not too long ago, when this article was written, maybe a few years ago, 20 years ago, maybe, he gave Siyum, the father, Siyum Mishnayot for his father, only because of the cry that he pleaded 50 years before, 7 years before. He said, if it wasn't because of your crying, well, who knows my generation, my children? So we see from here that we have to try our best, but we have to start with Zehirut, Sur Mera. Obviously, once you have Asetov, is excellent. And I mentioned many times, we come to Bet Knesset, 2 people come to Bet Knesset. Let's say they come only once a week, Shabbat to Bet Knesset. One of them opens the Siddur and reads from beginning to end. The other one, he's not that much knowledgeable. He doesn't open the Siddur. But this guy who does not open the Siddur, his prayer apparently is more acceptable than the guy who opens the Siddur. You know what? Because this guy who does not open the siddur, at least he doesn't talk to Hashem, doesn't talk to his friends either. He just sits like this, meditating. Hashem says, as long as you are here for me, not for others, whatever you say is okay. But the other guy who reads from beginning of the siddur till end, he finds time to talk, to chat, to laugh, to make fun, this, that. Hashem says, excuse me, are you here to talk to me or to your friend in the middle of the tefillah? So he's mixing sur merah and the aseh tov together. He prays and he talks and he prays. But the other guy at least doesn't do anything. Not sur merah and not aseh tov. And that, therefore, let's focus on sur merah, zehirut. Keep our eyes open, not to trick ourselves, not to fool ourselves, not to say it's okay, everyone does it. I'm not saying it's easy, me myself does it, but let's start from somewhere. From some part of our life, let's be more vigilant and more observant. And Bezat Hashem should help us to keep it correctly. Yes.
Just mention Parashat Noah. Actually, Parashat Noah came to this the last generation to warn in the last generation. That's the people that we mentioned. This is actually the last one. That's why Parashat Noah came to teach us.
Every parasha, obviously, every parasha has a teachings. But what we learn, Teva ark is not just to save us from flood, is to open our eyes, prevention.
Also,
Don't stop there.
Also, there's a good news. We found